One of the most important application of permutation groups is that Galois theory that characterize polynomial equations that one solvable by radicals. Its origin lies in Galois study of the symmetry of the roots of polynomials. In this slide, we will introduce a symmetric group of degree n. Let S be any finite set with n distinct element. A bijective mapping sigma from the set S into S is called a permutation on S. It can be seen easily that the identity mapping is a permutation on S. The collection of all permutation forms a non-commutative group under the composition of mapping. As we see that the collection of all permutation on S forms a non-commutative group under the composition of mapping. So if you consider a mapping sigma in this set we will denote by Sn, symmetric group of degree n. If we take one element sigma in it, then sigma square we will denote the composition of sigma with sigma, and in similar way we can define sigma r, taking r composition of sigma with this notation sigma 0 equal I. Here I is the identity mapping. As we see that Sn is a finite collection of permutations, so there will be a stage when sigma r will become identity. So we can think about the least positive integer satisfying this condition when sigma r will be identity. Such least positive integer k is called the order of sigma, and it is denoted by O sigma, capital O here, and we use this notation O sigma to denote this. So in above we can say that the collection of all permutation on set S forms a non-commutative group under the composition of mapping, and this group is known as symmetric group of degree n, and it is denoted by Sn here. Now we will compute the number of element in Sn. So there is a proposition 1 in which we are saying that Sn has n factorial element. Let S be a finite set with n distinct element. Element of Sn are permutation on S. These are bijective mapping, and since S is a finite set and mapping from S to S, so it is sufficient to say it is injective one-to-one function. So element of Sn are one-to-one function from S into S. So we will consider first this. The first element of S can map to any of the n element of S. It is very much true that every element has unique image. Then one, if we consider one in S, then one can be assigned any n elements from 1 to n. So first element of S has n choices. The second element of S can map to any of n minus 1 remaining elements. If we consider nth element also, then we will see that there will be two distinct elements having the same image, and this will contradicts the injective condition of this element of Sn. Therefore second element of S can map to any of the remaining n minus 1 element of S. This process is now about to say that to continue like this, we can say that the last element can map to the remaining single element. Therefore, we can say that by the multiplicative law of association, first element has choice n, second element has choice n minus 1, and the last element has choice 1, and second last will have choice 2. So, the total number of choices for element of Sn is n factorial. So the order of Sn is n factorial. We have already discussed that Sn is a symmetric group of degree n, and now we described here it has n factorial element. If S has n distinct element, then S is equivalent to a set of n natural number, first n natural number, and therefore Sn can be taken as a group of all permutation on set S instead of some arbitrary set with n element. Now element of Sn are permutations, and now we will see how to represent a permutation. Now this is a two row notation of a permutation we will study here. As we know that sigma belongs to Sn, then it will be a mapping from S into S, and a mapping is a subset of S cross S. So as a subset of S cross S, an element of Sn can be written as, now you see here Cauchy two row notation about this element sigma is as follows. In first row, Cauchy write all the elements from 1 to n, and in second row he used to write their images. So we are dealing when we are dealing with S6 symmetric group of degree 6, we consider here two permutations sigma and tau in set theoretic form, and the representation, Cauchy representation of these two permutations is given below. Here we can see that one has image 3, 2 has image 5, 3 has image 6, 4 has image 1, in this way. So this the same fact can be written as a set theoretic form and there in Cauchy form that used by Cauchy. Now we determine composition of two permutation, and most of student face problem to figure out these composition. So here we will give description how to determine these composition of these two permutation. Now we are taking here composition sigma and tau. Write sigma first and tau later on tau, and now when we deal with images of these composition of this composition mapping, then we will start from left right and following the direction which we are given here. One has image 6 in tau. Now we are with 6 and following the arrow, and 6 has image 4. So finally under this composition mapping sigma tau, 1 has image 4. In similar way we can see 2 has image 5 here, and now 5 has image 2. So finally 2 has image 2. So this Cauchy form of permutation is useful to determine the composition of mapping. Now in similar way we can figure out this tau sigma in the same way by following the arrow. 1 has image 3, and now we are with 3 and we are reaching to 3, this 3 is here. Now 3 has image 1. So finally we have 1 has image 1. So here 1 has image 1. Now 2 has image 5, and the following this we are here 5 has image 3. So 2 has image 3 here. So in this way we can determine composition of 2 permutation. Cyclic notation is useful for computation of various problem of permutation. So now recall tau. Tau is a permutation in S6 we discussed in previously. Now you have 1 has image 6, 2 has image 5, 3 has image 1, and 4 has image 4. This is an interesting situation. 5 has image 3, 6 has image 2. So you can see that 1 has image 6, and when we reach to 6, 6 has image 2, and 2 has image 5, and 5 image 3, 3 has image 1. And now see every number there 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, they are attached with each other. However, 4 remains constant here. This is fixed. 4 has image 4. So if we denote this after leaving this 4 has image 4, this column, after leaving this column, if we denote theta here, then we say that theta and tau is same here. Due to this notation, if we are not considering some element in this notation, it means that it is fixed element. So theta having all moving element of tau. So a permutation, this is also a permutation in S3. After dropping this, you can see, notice that we can write theta in the following form. 1 has image tau 1, this is 6, and tau square 1, this is 5, this is 2 here. So means 1 has image 6, and 6 has image 2, 2 has image 5, and 5 has image 3, and 3 has image 1. In this notation of permutation, we can see that the element theta can be expressed in a single row. This is a one row notation also, we can call one row notation. So using this notation, we will clearly we can see theta is identical to this tau. Now using this notation, we will we find many interesting observation about a permutation. Now for practical purposes, tau can be expressed as a cycle. In this way, when we are leaving 4, then it becomes a cycle. And for practical purposes, we write, instead of this Cauchy notation, we can write in a single row 1, 6, 2, 5, 3. It means that 1 has image 6, 6 has image 2, 2 has image 5, 5 has image 3, and 3 has image 1. And if some element of S6 or S7 are not in this cycle, it means that they are having different moving situation, and they will not involve in this, they will not share any of these symbol in their moving positions. So a cycle notation is very useful. Now any right cyclic shift, reordering of the cyclic does not change the permutation. It means that when we can we have many different formulation of a cycle, but if we keep the order of these cycles same, then they represent the same cycle. For example, 5 3 1 6 2, 3 6 3 1 6 2 5 represent the same cycle as we discussed. This 1 6 2 5 3, you see here, this is 5 3 1 6 2. So we here order we retained the order of this cycle, and therefore a cycle of length 5 can be represented in many ways. In fact, we can represent in 5 ways. The number of terms in a cycle is called the length. You see here is 5 terms, 1 2 3 4 5. So it is of length 5, and this is called the order of the cycle. A cycle of length 2 is called a transposition. So transposition is a cycle of length 2. It plays important role to characterize even and odd permutation. Now this is interesting counting of cycles. The number of k cycles or a cycle of length k in Sn is n factorial upon k into n minus k factorial. This question is very useful, and this can be asked in any competitive exam, IIT JEM, UGC CSIR, JRF, NET. For these competition test and other competition test also, this question is very important for this point of view. So now I will discuss how to determine this number. So for any k, nck, you know that denote the different ways of selecting k elements from n elements. Obviously, the number of k cycles in Sn is nck times tk, where tk is the number of arrangement of k elements in form of cycle. So first of all, we have taken all k selections out of n. So k selection in which we only have one cycle, but we know that one cycle can be one cycle of length k, and it further can be arranged in k factorial ways. So since a cycle of length k is a special case of choosing k elements out of k factorial different ways, such that it doesn't matter which element we start. Therefore there are k ways to rotate a k cycle. So these k cycle can be found in tk equal k factorial upon k ways, because such cycle will be lesser out of total number of ways to write k elements. So for numerical purposes, you can see that 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 1 3 4 1 2 4 1 2 3, these are 4 cycles represent the same cycle. So there are 4 factorial by 4 equals 6 different cycles given by this of length 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 4 3. You can see these are different cycle. 1 3 2 4 1 3 4 2 1 4 2 3 1 4 3 2. So this example is useful to understand the above description. This is the handshake problem. Means that number of 2 cycle of a in Sn is n factorial upon 2 n minus 2 factorial. This is a handshake problem, which is well known problem. Element of S3. In many numerical problems we use S3, symmetric group of degree 3, and elements of S3 can be seen in the following form, in form of mapping. We know that element of S3 are mappings. They are bijective mapping. So this is the identity mapping, and this is a Cauchy form or 2-row notation. This is 1-row notation. We can write identity when all element are fixed here, so no element moves under this mapping. So we write I here. sigma 2 in which 1 moves to 2 and 2 moves to 1 and 3 remains fixed. So we can write in Cauchy form 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1 and 3 is fixed here, and in form of, while writing cycle we drop the element which remains fixed under the permutation. So this notation is very useful. So now we can use 1 2. It means that 1 having image 2 and 2 having image 1. Since the 3 is not there, so 3 has image 3. So in similar way we can describe all the elements here as sigma 5. 1 has image 2, 2 has image 3, 3 has image 1. So here 2 3 there is a connectivity. 1 has image 2, 2 has image 3, 3 has image 1. So we can write in this way: 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3 and 3 goes to 1 here. So this there are 3 factorial 6 elements in S3. Disjoint cycles. Cycles can be considered, two cycle can be considered, and we can say that whether these two cycles are disjoint or not. So first of all we define cycle of length k, and on the basis of this we will describe disjoint cycle. So sigma, if sigma belongs to Sn, is a non-identity permutation if there is exists a subset A of S such that sigma ai equal ai plus 1 and sigma ak equal a1. It means that sigma here permutation in Sn and having having a special role on this set E, in which sigma A1 has image A2, A2 has image A3, A3 image A4, and AK minus 1 image has AK, and AK has image A1. So sigma gives a special treatment to the element of this set. So and rest of element are fixed. In such situations, sigma is called a k cycle or a cycle of length k, and we will denote it by this, as we have done previously. Here we have used this notation. So we have already used this notation. It is well known. This is disjoint cycle if there are two cycles having elements A1, A2, AK, B1, B2, BT. So they are cycles, so they have corresponding sets of symbols. This A corresponds alpha, B corresponds beta. So alpha beta will be disjoint if A and B are disjoint as a set. So if their corresponding sets are disjoint, then the cycles will be disjoint. Alpha beta are disjoint cycle, then alpha beta equal beta alpha. So this is an interesting property for disjoint cycles, in which we see disjoint cycle commute, and therefore disjoint cycles has many interesting application in permutation. You see example 1 3 6 4 2 5. These are two cycles of length 4 and 2. They are disjoint, while you see there are also two cycles of length 4 and 2 respectively, and these are not disjoint because there is a 4 and there is a 4. 4 is in both these collection, so therefore they are not disjoint. Representation of a permutation. A permutation can be represented in form of cycles. Let sigma be any permutation. If sigma is identity, then we will represent it at I. If it is different from identity, then there exists a subset A of S such that sigma A not is not equal A for all A belongs to A. It means that if sigma is different from identity, so there will be at least one element in S, and this S will have a subset E, uh, which elements moves under sigma. So there exists an element A in S such that sigma A is different from A. Otherwise, it will be identity. So this can be said for this can be assumed for a subset also. If sigma ai equal ai plus 1 for this, and in this situation sigma is a cycle of length k on the set A of S. If this difference set of is empty, then as we have previously discussed, sigma itself is cycle of length n. Otherwise, we will continue to obtain another cycle as discussed. There will be another subset B such that sigma B not equal to B for all B belongs to B, where B does not belongs to A. Therefore, so sigma itself is cycle of length n, and we will continue to obtain another cycle as discussed. One has finite number of cycles because S has a finite number of elements, so we can find only finite number of such subsets, and each subset will correspond a cycle. So there are finite number of cycles such that sigma is a composition of these cycles, and obviously the length of all such cannot, sum of lengths of all sigma i's cannot exceed n. From the construction, these cycles are disjoint. As we have discussed earlier, A is a subset of B. We can find B is a subset of S, which is a subset of S deleted A. And in this way, from the construction, these cycles are disjoint, and sigma is now a product of disjoint cycles. For example, in S3 you can see 1 has image 4, 4 has image 7, 7 has image 1. So if we think about A, so A has 3 element 1, 4, 7. Okay, so you see here sigma 1 equal 4, sigma 4 is 7, and sigma 7 is 1 again. And now we can take another consideration. S minus A is non-empty now because 2, 3, 5, 6 now in S, and there will be another cycle corresponding to these elements, you can see. So from this we can say that every element of Sn can be represented as a product of disjoint cycles. Here another example we can see, and as they are disjoint, so we can write any order 3 6 1 3 6 4 before or later on. So it is permutation. Now we have discussed permutation. Any permutation can be written as a product of cycles. Now we will see a cycle can be represented as a product of transposition. So sigma is a cycle, then sigma can be written as a transposition like this: sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma k minus 1. I think here will be better. You can see 147 can be written as 1714. So in same way here sigma 1 a1 ak, sigma 2 a1 ak minus 1. So in this way we can write finally A1 A2. So every cycle can be written as product of transposition like this. This is not a unique way, however we can express in such a way. This is a standard way of expressing. However, we can have different ways to express a cycle in different number of transposition. So if pi is a permutation in Sn, then pi is a product of disjoint cycles as we discussed, and each cycle is a product of transposition. So therefore sigma, this pi can be written as a product of transposition. In this example we can see that pi is a permutation, and this can be written as a product of cycles, and further these cycle can be written as a product of transposition. Now it is interesting to see that there is 5 transposition, 1 2 3 4 5. So the number of transposition is odd, so this permutation will be odd. So here the number of transposition in any representation of a permutation, either even or odd but not both. If the number of transposition are even, then the permutation called even permutation, otherwise it is called odd permutation. Some elements of S does not appear in any transposition or cycle are assumed to be fixed under the permutation. Representation of pi as a product of transposition is not unique, as we can say 1 2 3 can be expressed as 1 3 1 2, also can be expressed as 2 1 2 3. So there are so many ways to express, but you see here is 2, here is 4, here is 2. Number of element in the transposition, either even or odd, it will not change. Even if it is written in 2 transposition, then it can be written in 4 6 8, but cannot written in 5 transposition. To determine order of element in Sn, this is also important question for IIT JAM and UGC CSIR JRF. So if sigma is any permutation, and as we have discussed, sigma can be written as a product of disjoint cycles, and if order of each cycle is mi, then you can see that order of sigma is also LCM of this. Now let m is the LCM of this, then LCM of m1 m2 mr, and m1 is a order of sigma 1 cycle, order of m2 is sigma 2, and mr is order of sigma r. Then by disjoint property, if you sigma m, if you compute, then due to disjoint property we can express in this way. This is important to note that if it is not disjoint, we cannot write these in this way. Sigma m can be written as sigma 1 raised to power m, sigma 2 m, sigma r m. Now we see here, because m1 m2 mr, this LCM of these is m, so therefore these all will be identity, and sigma m equal identity. So if order of sigma will divide order of m, order of sigma will divide m. For fixed I, in reverse situation, when we will see that order of sigma equal m, in order to prove this, we will, for a fixed I, again using the disjoint property of this, sigma I mi is identity by the order, because mi is the order of sigma I. Now this implies sigma mi. Why? Because if you imply sigma mi here, so it will be mi here. And if you compute image of any element x, sigma m I x, then it will be here sigma r m I x. But sigma r is a disjoint from sigma I, so it will give no change in x, and finally it will approach to sigma I mi, and finally it will be identity element. So sigma mi equal I for all I, it follows that order of sigma cannot exceed from mi. Therefore order of sigma cannot exceed from m, and therefore, and in this way we can prove that order of sigma equal m. So it is a simple number theoretic result. I think it will be understandable if one can understand these type of number theoretic result. So it is totally depend upon number theory. For n equals 7, the partition of 7R, you can see here, partition of 7, 6 plus 1, 5 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 1, 4 plus 3, 4 plus 2 plus 1. Why I am showing these partition? Actually we can see every permutation in Sn can be written as a product of disjoint cycle, and length of cycle in S7 can be 7 or can be 6, can be 5 plus 2, can be 5, 4 plus 3, 4 and 3, 4 and 2, 4. So if its length is 7, so order of sigma is 7. If length is 6, its order is 6. If length is 5, its combination of two cycles 5 and 2, so order will be 10, and here order will be 12. So the partition of n play important role in to determine order of a permutation. So I hope you this is very useful. Okay, this book I suggest here, Galilean book. It is well known and very useful for permutation groups, and Dummett and Foote is also a good book and has many advanced topic related to this permutation group. Thanking you.